What's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to give you some surefire tips that help you get better at soloing. Hey, according to my YouTube analytics, about 60% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Help me out. I really appreciate it. So recently, the question I got was, hey man, how do I actually solo? Everything just sounds a little bit like scales. I understand exactly where you're coming from. When I started getting into improvisation and learning how to craft solos, that's what mine sounded like. The good old John Petrucci rock discipline got me. I thought soloing was just... And that's what my solos sounded like for the longest time. So in this video, the things we're going to talk about is the scale you should really know for soloing, 2, how to approach phrasing, and 3, my best tips and advice for getting better. So let's start off with scales. First of all, the only scale you really need to know for 99% of music that's written is the major scale. So for this video's sake, we're going to stick with C major. You really need to know it all around the fretboard. So there's a couple of different approaches you can take to learning that. My favorite is to teach students one string at a time. But you also need to know it positionally. However, that's not required for being able to solo really well. That's just like the goal that I want you to shoot for, is to be able to know where to play C major, and also at any part of the neck, you should know which notes are in C major. You know, if you don't know where that's at on the fretboard, it's going to make soloing a guessing game. Once you know the major scale, I'm going to give you a secret. You can drop 2 notes and it pretty much always sounds good. And those 2 notes are F and B, which in any major scale, the 4th and your 7th, if you drop them, you get pentatonic. We can even do minor pentatonic. I use the pentatonic shapes a lot. I'm thinking about them in different directions. So a lot of guys, when they get into soloing, they learn A minor, and there's nothing wrong with this, but that's where they stay. They think that if I'm playing in C or if I'm playing in A minor, that's the only place I've got to play. The next shape I would really encourage you to learn is starting on the 8th position, and it looks like this. So you go 8, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. So I would run, just to build some like muscle memory, I would run those back to back, something like... And then we can take that even further. If you know the 4th scale degree, which in this case is F, its relative minor, D, will also work. You can also use E minor, because that is C major's 5th. So E minor will work. I would just substitute this B for a C, and it sounds like this. That's pretty much the whole fretboard. So that's like step 1. Those are the scales that I would quote unquote learn, but really just getting comfortable with it. Whenever you're practicing scales, running it up and down isn't going to teach you how to solo, but it's going to build in muscle memory. I would just recommend you do different patterns. Like, let's just say you do 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then you drop back 1. You know, I don't know. I'm just making this up on the fly. But the whole idea is you need to get out of just going up and down, because if you just go up and down, that's all you'll play, and then you're back to square one. It's like, now you know all these scales, and you know one exercise to run. All right, so the second thing we're gonna talk about is phrasing. I'm gonna give you a cheat sheet for phrasing. So the thing I really recommend most guitar players do is learn vocal melodies. Vocal melodies will teach you phrasing, but they'll also teach you how to play melodically. I understand a lot of people like flashy guitar playing, but most guitar solos that are memorable are people can sing them. You know, look at Polyphia. Polyphia is like the extreme example. It's all nothing but shreddy guitar parts, but if you listen to, say, Champagne, the crowd literally sings the guitar part back to them. That's how you know that's a good riff. I'm gonna give you an easy formula. The formula I use is A, B, A, C. All right, so we're gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna improvise this on the spot, so we'll see how this works out. And then let's do back A. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to write a B part. So our B part could be something, we want to start off the same. So now if we were to put those two ideas together, then I would think about these in chunks. So that's A, that's B, and then maybe C could be something completely different where it's like, so if we were to put all of that together, I don't remember what I did for C, but that's the idea, is to think about things in chunks and then just chunk things together. Don't make it more complicated than that, especially when you're just getting started. All right, so my overall advice is to, one, spend a lot of time listening to vocal melodies. Vocal melodies will really open you up and teach you how to think about phrasing. They'll also show you where most human voices live. You know, for me, I spent a lot of time learning Elton John. If you really want to learn really good phrasing and really good ideas, listen to a lot of Elton John. The other thing is to set rules for yourself. So I'm gonna give you like some guidelines. One, if you're in a soloing context, stay off of the top two strings. That right there, if I go, oh, Damien solo, and I go, you instantly know I'm an amateur. But instead, if you say, hey, Damien solo, and I go, you might think I know what I'm doing, and I just fooled you. But, you know, that whole approach of starting somewhere else is important. And the other thing too is to think about movement. This is more of like an advanced topic that'll come with due time if you practice everything I just outlined. But the whole idea with movement is starting off, you know, if we're thinking about, say, like a blockbuster film, it's very rare that a blockbuster film starts at like peak climax and then descends to boring resolve. Most of the time, a good film starts off introducing the characters, building story development, then we hit the climax, then we have resolution, and then we end. You should take the same approach to playing guitar. If I start off here, I've really got nowhere else to go, you know? If I'm just nowhere to really go, but instead if I'm like, I don't know, just making it up, but I can take it. You know, that at least gives me places I can go explore. And that's the whole idea. And my real last tip for you is to play all the wrong notes. Go play all the wrong notes. The only reason I can do this and sound competent is because I've played way more wrong notes than most people have tried. Okay, and I still play wrong notes a lot, you know? And the most important thing though is to not play a wrong note and start over again. Push through it, but most importantly, think about why was that a quote unquote wrong note? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Say that we're in A minor. This wouldn't sound good. But resolving back to here, now it sounds normal. Because D sharp does not belong here. D sharp is not in the key of C major. But I can make it work. All by resolving. So just don't freak out, don't panic. Most of the time, if you look cool, you play cool, the crowd will never know. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has helped you. If it has, make sure you hit that subscribe button so I know that you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.